In previous years, the Buffalo Bills have struck gold in the 5th round. However, this year in the 2020 NFL Draft, the 5th round pick left us all a little bit confused. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Billievers Talk. My name is Joe, and welcome to this 2020 NFL Draft Player Profile Edition of Billievers Talk, where we take a look at every single Buffalo Bills draft pick and we ask ourselves, was this the right pick at the time, and what does this mean for the Buffalo Bills moving forward? Again, thank you for joining me. My name is Joe. If you're new to this channel, guys, please be sure to hit that subscribe button as we keep you up to date on the Buffalo Bills NFL Draft and keep you up to date on all Buffalo sports news. Also, after you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit that notification bell. YouTube notifies you when we put out new content. While you're here, hit that thumbs up button, like this video, and please leave a comment. I'm sure there are plenty of thoughts to go around about your opinion on the Buffalo Bills 5th round draft pick, Jake Fromm, quarterback out of Georgia. So I definitely want to hear them in the comment section, guys. I have my thoughts and I'm going to share them with you in this video. But we first want to talk about what Jake Fromm did at the collegiate level and why he is a good NFL prospect. A lot of people are shocked by this move. A lot of people are upset by this move. I'm not quite there, right? I'm not upset. I'm not mad about this move. You know, going into the NFL draft process, us as Bills fans, the Bills themselves, the front office, we said that the Buffalo Bills have put themselves in a place to draft the best player available at the time. You have Jake Fromm slipping into the 5th round. All the NFL coverage was talking about was how Jake Fromm kept slipping. You know, most mock drafts had him going somewhere between the 3rd and 4th round. We get him in the 5th round. So did we pick the best player available? That's what Brandon Beane thought. Brandon Beane actually texted Chris Mortensen and said that he had no plans on drafting Jake Fromm in the 5th round of the NFL draft, or today when he woke up this morning, I should say. But with the 5th round pick number 167 overall, the Buffalo Bills just could not pass him up, which means that they thought his value was too good to be there at 167, and they're more than happy to take him off the board. So I just don't understand why Bills fans are completely upset about this move. I know what this means as far as the Buffalo Bills in the past with the 5th round picks. I mean, obviously you talk about Vosean Joseph last year. People will always bring up Matt Milano. We've seemed to strike gold on 5th round picks in recent history, right? Everyone loves those 5th round picks. But that doesn't mean that the Buffalo Bills still haven't struck gold with this 5th round pick. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to take over for Josh Allen. Do not get me wrong. But what if they let Jake Fromm control the preseason, right? He plays in the preseason, and he plays well in the preseason. Everyone talks about his arm strength and how he might not do well in the swirling winds of Buffalo. Well, in September, those winds haven't taken full effect yet, right? So let's say he goes out in the preseason and he plays pretty well, and then a team that's got an injury at quarterback, or maybe a team that doesn't have a for sure starter, a team starts off slow. What if we get 4th round draft pick for Jake Fromm? Then all of a sudden, Brandon Beane, Coach McDermott, they flipped a 5th round pick into a 4th round pick just because Jake Fromm looked good for the Buffalo Bills for a short time period, and you'll have teams, quarterback needy teams, willing to take a chance on a guy that won a lot at the University of Georgia. And when we look at his stats, you'll see he didn't make a lot of mistakes as far as interceptions. We know about the arm strength. We know that he lacks some physical tools, but the mental side is there. And we do not have to ask ourselves, is Jake Fromm better than Josh Allen? That answer is obvious. It's obviously a no. However, what we can ask ourselves, can Jake Fromm at some point in his career be better than Matt Barkley is right now? And that doesn't mean necessarily on the field. That means holding a clipboard, learning the game, being able to help Josh Allen understand things a little bit better. That's what you have to ask yourselves. Guys, you have to realize that Brandon Beane was talking to Brian Daboll. That's right, the same Brian Daboll who was the offensive coordinator at Alabama when Alabama went up against Georgia in 2017 in the national championship game. Brian Daboll saw Jake Fromm up close and personal, and Jake Fromm played well in that national championship game, so he can lead them back to that. Did Jake Fromm have a bad combine? Absolutely. Did he not look as sharp as some thought he would? Absolutely. And that's why he kept falling in this draft. However, with the 167th overall pick, it's hard to argue that Jake Fromm doesn't have good value. And if you look at the draft board right now for the Buffalo Bills, they have strided on good value. They got good value out of every single one of their picks, and you can't argue that. Epineza was a great value in the second round. Some people still had him mocked as a first-round type grade. You talk about Zach Moss in the third round, a really good running back that we get great value in as well. And then talk about in the fourth round, we pick up Gabriel Davis out of UCF. And now we get Jake Fromm, a quarterback, again, that we don't necessarily need. However, you know that the Buffalo Bills used him for good value here, and that's what they got out of him. And we'll hopefully see what Jake Fromm could do, either A, as a backup quarterback or as trade potential. Like I said, let's say he goes out and plays well in training camp, plays well in the preseason, and then all of a sudden there's a quarterback needy team who's looking to trade to get a guy like a Jake Fromm, who at that point is looking to take a chance. Then maybe the Buffalo Bills struck gold. All of a sudden you turned a fifth-round draft pick in one season, you swung it into fourth. Or maybe it takes 2 seasons, but still, that's something you can get done. Jake Fromm can now be on the practice squad for a year or 2 as well. So even though you have Matt Barkley now, Matt Barkley's not going to be with the Buffalo Bills in 2 seasons. He's not. His contract's going to run out, and I don't think the Buffalo Bills are going to renew Matt Barkley's contract. So wouldn't Jake Fromm be a perfect replacement for a Matt Barkley? We know about the arm strength. Again, I understand that. But by perfect replacement, I mean with the clipboard, with his knowledge, a guy that knows how to win, a guy that played at a high level at Georgia in the biggest of games, the national championship game. So I think that, I know a lot of Bills fans are upset about this pick in the 5th round. They feel like the Buffalo Bills wasted a pick. But these are the same people who said at the beginning of this draft process, hey, the Bills put themselves in the best place to get best player available. Well, we did that. And now you're upset. And now you're upset. Listen, I don't know what Jake Fromm's role is going to be on this team. I really don't. And I don't know if he's going to be a fit for the Buffalo Bills or not. But we sit here and we say we trust the process. We trust Brandon Beane. We trust Coach McDermott. We trust Ken Dorsey, who was probably in on the phone call as well. And then make one pick in the 5th round of the 2020 NFL draft, and all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, terrible pick. Terrible pick. What were they thinking? They're thinking they know more about this team than we do. They're thinking that they can get best player available, and that's exactly what they did. So Jake Fromm, we'll talk about his measurables. We'll talk about where he started from. Actually played high school football in Georgia. Went to Houston County High School, which is in Georgia. Jake Fromm, 6'2", 220 pounds. He was originally slated to sign a letter of intent to play with Alabama. However, in the same year, Jake Fromm was a senior at high school. Georgia gets a new head coach, and he convinces Jake Fromm to come to the University of Georgia and be a Georgia Bulldog, where Jake Fromm goes and plays his college ball. And in 3 seasons in Georgia in 2017, he completed 62.2% of his passes for 2,615 yards, 24 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Like I said, led that Georgia Bulldog team to a national championship game where they were so close to beating the Alabama Crimson Tide. So he played well enough to put them in a position to win that game. Then you look at 2018, played in 14 games, 67.4% completion percentage, 2,761 yards, 30 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. 2019, 14 games, 60.8% complete percentage, 2,860 yards, 24 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So you look at those interceptions to touchdown ratios, pretty good, right? Pretty solid. We'll take that from Josh Allen any day of the week. And again, this guy is a natural born winner. Last year in the FBS, he actually, over the 3-year span that he played, led the FBS in wins. That's hard to duplicate, right? He had 36 wins, I believe it was, in 3 seasons in college. That's pretty good. That's pretty impressive. So again, I don't understand completely why everyone's upset. I know we have our starting quarterback in Josh Allen. Everyone knows we have our starting quarterback in Josh Allen. But as was brought up on the ESPN broadcast, Josh Allen is a risk taker. All it takes is one hit, One hit and you need a guy who's ready to come in there. And on this channel alone, there was lots of chatter about possibly improving the backup quarterback position. Scott Blakely, huge fan of his. I know he's a huge fan of the show. He came on here plenty of times trying to stick up for Matt Barkley. Try to stick up for Matt Barkley and say, hey, what's wrong with Matt Barkley? Nothing's wrong with Matt Barkley. But can Jake Fromm be better? Again, Jake Fromm could sit on the practice squad for a year behind Matt Barkley. Learn from Matt Barkley what it takes to be a good backup quarterback in the NFL. Because Jake Fromm, one thing you can't argue about Jake Fromm is he has the leadership capabilities. He led Georgia. Remember, his freshman year, he came in after a week 1 injury to their starter at their time, Jacob Eason. And Jacob Eason then had to transfer because the because the Georgia Bulldogs knew that they had their answer at quarterback, so Easton had to go somewhere where he knew he would be able to start again. So again, guys, let me know what you think about this Jake Fromm pick. I know a lot of people are upset about it, and I don't understand why. So maybe you can help me understand why. I know we have our starting quarterback. The whole world knows we have our starting quarterback. But what's wrong with improving our backup quarterback position if we can? And what's wrong with taking best player available if that's what Bills Mafia was saying we could do the whole pre-draft process, guys? I realize that we just picked up our 6th round draft pick as I'm doing this video. I saw it on my phone. I'm going to do a video on him as well. So make sure you continue to tune in to Believers Talk for continuing coverage of the 2020 NFL Draft as we do a player profile on every single Buffalo Bills draft pick. I look forward to doing all of them. I look forward to seeing you all soon and talking to you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.